This is Culture War or Culture Snore. And what does that sound, Joey? It sounds awful. But
Wham,
um, you
wham,
know,
wham, wham.
I am.
I'm dealing with an old man.
You know what? I dealt with an old man too, and you know what? You deal with difficult people, and
Geriatric rage. Geriatric rage is real. It needs to be recognized. It needs to be addressed. But geriatric rage is very real.
well, I mean, I've dealt with elderly people too, but I've dealt with kooky people for a large part of my life. I mean, I have family members that are kooky, and a lot of them are online, and I feel like the establishment is emboldening unhinged and kooky people, and that's what I'm basically I'm fighting against. These people are insane. These people say, just some of them, when they get educated, they say all this, this word vomit nonsense that kind of spews out of their mouth. It's like, how do you come up with this shit? Where's your brain, man? Give me a break. Okay, go ahead. You feel
No,
like you're talking to me.
you are, for once, I 100% agree with you. Education is a huge, huge factor. It is, it's led to way, way too many egos becoming overinflated. It causes a lot of Stonewall Jackson. People don't want to, um, they don't want to separate from their ego, and their ego is fed by the rewards that are given by letters, pieces of paper, and it's very real.
And the thing of it is, I feel that these egotists have infected the culture with a bunch of hyperbolic mumbo jumbo and nonsense. This trans thing, Black Lives Matter, um, a lot of the woke bullshit that's coming out, and how I define woke is moral authoritarianism disguised as a virtue. And these are fucking control. These are control freaks who,
For
yeah,
me, there's no worse culprit, and I've had. I don't know if you've seen it, but since I started my Twitter, I've had as my byline defund NPR because I think NPR feeds that exact demographic every day, and it's disturbing.
well, you know what? You don't have to. You really don't have to be. Even in college, you can walk down a college campus and you can observe what these individuals are saying, and like this is a bunch of gobbledygook. You know, when I walked near the BLM rally, when what you and I both saw with the stuff, and I saw more of it because it was close to where I was. Some of the things these people were spouting. I mean, one of the guys who gave a speech, he goes, "And I've been called toxic," like it's something to be proud of. And I was reminded
I
of
got cheered.
some of my family members. They sounded like some of my family members that have mental illness. You know, it's like they were saying absolute kooky nonsense, and they were over dramatizing, and it was one of the most toxic, a celebration of toxic behavior that I've ever seen and I've ever witnessed. And I think that more people need to call out this toxic, unhinged behavior that we are observing. It's just it's so stupid, and I think people are trying to.
We're talking
Um,
about people with a lot of money too. We're talking about a side of the fence that does have a lot of money, and they live in very nice neighborhoods,
yeah.
and and they are promoting an just what they are promoting is a disease, if you ask me.
Well, it's you know it's just the things that these people come up with, and these these cackling hens, and these with Don Lemon, and the rest of these drama queens. The problem is when they debate them or try to address them, they try to appeal to them and play their game. And I think that is the biggest mistake uh, that the opposition to this culture war does. And in my opinion, you have to be brutally honest, and you have to tell hard truths. And I think uh, people can handle hard truth. They can handle brutal honesty, and that's I think
They
that
are they are absolutely craving it.
yeah. And the establishment has basically shut down. I mean, since the COVID, since the pandemic has happened, the establishment elites and the cult and the cultists, the woke cultists, have taken over the establishment with an extreme force, and they want their way, and they want their authority, and they want obedience, and they want this obedience without question. And they do a few things. Um, they weaponize offense, so so it takes you off your it puts you off your toes, and then it controls the narrative. When there are things that you can't speak, or words that you can't say, and they change words around. They recently changed the word homeless to unhoused. Like, why? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose? What's the difference between an unhoused person and a homeless person? We change words for no reason, and it's a way basically to control speech and to control um, perceptions, and it helps to weaponize offense. Joey, I'll give you the floor. Oh wait,
Well, next time, make sure you bring those words. What words are you referring to? I know there's plenty. Well,
well,
the number one thing I can think of is how Roe versus Wade redefined the meaning of the word conception, and that was a major problem. But but look at that culture that supports and I'm on neither side of this. Both sides do kooky things. You're more inclined to take a side here, uh, but um, but if you look at how the narrative for just for that one topic alone has evolved into what it is, and it's such a hot button issue even to this day.
yeah. I mean, I tend to believe with regards to the culture war, you got to pick your battles, and this is a battle that is I don't think is effective, and people whether they and there are people that believe that it's it's a human life, but the thing is it's they're going to vote against it, and then they're going to vote against other things as well, like a defund the
I've noticed something, by the way, that you've gotten some more attention in. Am I correct that people are calling you out in your private life?
is what in my private life for people. What, that did happen at one time, but not anymore. There are people that are calling me out. Like, I mean, on Twitter, I'm getting into some fearsome battles, and I'm getting into battles with people that are not, and the thing is, I do allow my anger to get the better of me, and I want to attack because, in my opinion, there are things that people don't see, and they ignore. And if I bring them up, they get offended, and I'm like, don't talk to me. If you're gonna pull my chain, don't talk to me.
We left a message for John Stewart. I think we should go back and find out if he ever ended up running that.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I
Ever.
mean, I mean, John Stewart can be very contentious, and a lot of these people, certainly they live in their bubbles, and uh, they don't want their they don't want their views to be challenged, and that's one of the reasons why they and why they want social media to be censored. They want to control the narrative.
And they've done a good job of that.
They absolutely have. They absolutely have done a very good job at controlling the narrative, and it is effective.
So you're getting some attention on Twitter.
Oh yeah, and I mean and I thank God for Elon Musk for what he did. Uh, one of my one of my tweets has gotten over 100,000 views, and it's just brutal, harsh truth, but it's truth nonetheless. And you can either accept it or you can't. And there are people who are stuck in their egos who cannot accept brutal truth and brutal honesty. And my opinion with Walk Against the Woke, it's, the brutal honesty has to be there. There has to be hard truth that has to be told about certain organizations and certain groups that the things that they ignore, and in my opinion, the things they ignore and the things that they not only actively ignore, they fight to suppress. Uh, on legacy media, they will ignore certain things, and on social media, these same groups will fight to suppress it. And this has been going on for quite some time. Uh, I'll get into more detail on what I believe right now, because right now it's somewhat speculation, but I have rather good evidence on things that the mainstream media won't cover, and we've covered this before over the years, so we kind of we're kind of perhaps on the same page. I mean, the more I've gone down certain rabbit holes, the more I'm kind of convinced that there is certainly a leftist bias, and they've gotten worse, and they've gotten like 20 times worse since uh, since COVID. And but now there is a backlash, and it's been effective. I mean, the boycott of Bud Light has been effective, and I think that they can do other things that are effective with regards to this culture war. As you have said, the pen is mightier than the sword, and all wars are economic, and boycotts work. And you can bring people to the table if you have power, economic power. Joe, were you going to make a comment? So, yeah, I thought Joe was going to make a comment, but and Joe, if you do have something to say, just unmute your mic, and I will. Oh, okay, okay, and it's device not connected. And this has happened before, by the way. I don't know what's going on here. So Joe has he's got to. We've had some technical difficulties, and hopefully he can bring himself back in and add himself to our conversation. But it's voice not connected here. And I'm going to add the stream. Joey, whoop. All right. So he got disconnected, and now he's connected. But
Okay, I can hear you.
all, yeah, I was going to say again, all wars are economic, including culture wars, and the pen is mightier than the sword. And you have to be orderly, and you have to know when to resist and when to flee. And again, I think that economically, we can make a dent. I don't know how big of a dent, but I think that there can be a big enough dent that can be brought forth. Joey, do you have anything to add? Joey? Joe, do you have anything to add? Can you hear me?
Damn it.
All right. So this is one of the difficulties of a show. Sometimes,
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead, Joey.
okay.
Um, I was going to say this is sometimes one of the difficulties of a show is sometimes you'll run into technical difficulties. Um, but I think that uh, the pushback is effective, and the pushback can become even more effective uh, if you do it in the right way and you do it respectfully. But in my opinion, it has to be done. My problem is I get too caught up in the fight, and I also get too angry, and I don't. At the time when I'm caught up with my anger, I don't. Uh, I'm less effective, and I argue with people when they're wasting my time, and they're not gonna see things to my view. Anyway, Joe, I'm going to leave the last word for you. Do you have anything to add before I call this show a day?
No, other than the fact that we do differ in where we do choose to pick that fight, but I think we're on the same path in a lot of ways. So I'm glad everyone is checking us out, and keep listening and liking and subscribing.
Yeah, and we're going to do things with, our new program, Walk Against the Woke. Um, we do plan on hoping to put a little dent within this culture war and to gain some sanity and some form
Next
of,
week, Brian. Next week
yeah.
we will have some T-shirts, some Walk Against the Woke T-shirts, and original Wokesters. So keep your eye open for that. We'll probably put them up for we'll have a nice sale, and you can grab them cheap.
Good enough. So like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And I think I'm going to do a Stoic Calm show tomorrow and really try to work, number one, on whom I talk to and whom I don't communicate with online, and really controlling that anger, because these individuals do weaponize offense, and anything you do or say uh, can and will be used against you in the court of wokeness. And
Which
yeah,
does jive with the court of public opinion.
well, not necessarily. They've got the court of
Divergence, but yeah. Go
They
ahead.
have the thing is they have the court of the establishment, and they have large portions of the economic establishment. Anyway, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you for listening.